Resumindo do motivo do porquê eu criei esse vídeo, minha internet estava uma bosta e eu não tinha nada pra fazer, então no tédio eu decidi gravar um vídeo morrendo pro Mr. Ripple. Fique com a gameplay. Ok, vamos começar logo essa bagaça. Já botei aqui o Mr. Ripple no 20 e o Phone Guy, né, que vai ser meu amiguinho, porque o Phone Guy é muito legal. Eu quero botar amiguinhos, eu quero botar meus amiguinhos. Ela é amiguinha? Nossa, ela é muito amiguinha e gostosa, nossa. Nossa, não, mas... O meu Phone Guy também não liga, né, velho? Tô tristão, mano. Eu não tenho amiguinhos. Pra começar que eu vou mudar essa música, que essa música é muito ruim. Essa música também é legalzinha. Aí o Phone Guy tá ligando, beleza. Eu mutei ele! Cara, eu não tô vendo o que eu tô fazendo. Deixa eu de oxigênio. E agora... Oh, delícia.
Want to avoid getting stuffed into a Freddy suit, try playing dead. You know, go limp. Then there's a chance that maybe they'll think that you're an empty.
Olha meu amiguinho. Meu amiguinho, eu quero mais poder. Obrigado. Poder não, é bateria. Eu sou burro. Não. 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 Não é essa, por favor. Não, 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 não. Não. Não é essa, não. Pelo menos a música é legal. Cadê a musiquinha? A musiquinha. Não, essa música é uma merda. Isso! Isso!
It seems that your journey has ended. Very sorry about that. It was always going to end this way, of course. If it weren't by me, it would have just been by some other, terrible thing. Just, you could not imagine how terrible it would be. Just, I get scared thinking about it. Glad it's not me. It reminds me of a time I was speaking to my good friend Orville. We were sitting on a park bench watching the pigeons. I was on the left, he was on the... Oh, wait, was I on the right or left? Anyways, it doesn't matter. We were sitting on there watching the pigeons. And I said to Orville, "Friend, those birds are frozen." And he kind of looked at me like I'd lost my mind. But I reminded him that it was winter, and often birds will sit in a tree until they freeze. And then they sort of fall to the ground until the sun warms up and they can, move around again. So I said to Orville, "You might as well save those breadcrumbs until the birds thaw, because they can't very well enjoy them in the condition they're in." To which he asked what I meant, and asking what condition the crumbs should be in before he threw them to the birds, assuming that I meant the birds couldn't enjoy the breadcrumbs in the condition that the crumbs were in, when in fact I had meant the birds could not enjoy them in the condition that the birds were in, considering that the birds were frozen. So he took a moment and then threw his last handful onto the ground. I said to him, "Orville, why did you throw the breadcrumbs to the birds when I just told you they're frozen?" To which he responded, "The breadcrumbs are not frozen." Again, misunderstanding my words. I didn't mean to say that the breadcrumbs were frozen when I said I told you they're frozen. I'd been referring to the birds. In hindsight, what I should have said was, and this would make perfect sense, "Why did you throw the breadcrumbs to the birds when the birds are frozen?" He misunderstood upon my correction, stating that he didn't know what else to do with the breadcrumbs, and that perhaps, when the birds thawed, they'd still be able to eat the crumbs. So I said to Orville, and this is what I said to him, I said, "Orville, the birds may be dead."
Acabou? Foi só isso. Quem é esse Orville que ele fica falando? Quem é esse Orville? Esse aqui? Esse elefante? Essa tá escala? Mano, vai ser triste se ele iria aparecer aqui, velho. Não, se ele iria aparecer aqui, mano, eu vou chorar, velho. Se ele iria aparecer, eu vou chorar, mano. Se ele iria aparecer, eu vou chorar. Eu tô falando sério. Ela apareceu, eu vou ter uma crise aqui, eu vou dar um rage tão pavoroso, sabe? o rage que eu vou dar quando a Lily aparecer é algo de outro mundo, sabe?
Hello? Hello? Well, if you're hearing this and you made it to day 2 on your first night.
Que foi isso? Ah, tá, a bateria que acabou, né? Tem isso. Eu fiquei vendo um pornô demais e a bateria acabou, né? Foi isso mesmo. Tá vendo um centaizão aí, sabe? Do bom mesmo. Tinha overflow é muito bom, Deixa eu pensar, outro hentai bem legal. Secret Mission, nossa, hentai é muito bom, mano. Muito bom mesmo, menina, tem uns peitão, velho. Deixa eu pensar outro hentai aqui. Sei lá, mano. Só que, não. De novo, não! Vai se fuder! Vai se fuder! Tá certo! Não, eu não vou aceitar isso, não. Valeu e pronto. Isso! Boa!
It seems that you have met your end. What a pity. You know, I don't feel too bad about it, though. After all, if it weren't me, it would have just been one of the others, I guess. I'm honestly just glad to be out of those air ducts. You know, it's not easy for a hippopotamus to fit up there, and not easy to get down either. Not as young as I used to be, as you can see. I used to be able to do all the sorts of things. You're young, you're vibrant, you have that sort of pep in your step. It reminds me of a conversation I was having with one of my good friends, Orville. We were having a nice picnic one day. I believe it was summer. No, perhaps it was... Was it the fall? Yes. It was the fall because the leaves had turned already. But I said to Orville, I says, Orville, I have a story to tell you. And Orville looked at me, kind of odd and said, well, what's it about? I said to him, not every story has to be about something, Orville. Sometimes a person just wants to talk. Why does everything have to be a story? I said to him. He just looked at me and he said, well, you said you had a story. And, he was quite right. I did, in fact. I told him I had a story. I suppose if a person just wants to talk, then it's best to not announce that you're telling a story. Telling a story does come with its own pressures and expectations, I suppose. After all, if you're just talking to a friend, and there's no more expectations than if you were talking into the wind. Words by themselves aren't expected to carry, aren't expected to stick. But if you announce you're telling a story, well then, there'd better be a point to it all, No one wants to sit and listen to someone ramble on and on and on with absolutely no end in sight. So, it's good to be mindful that when you tell someone that you're about to tell a story, that you have something to say. Telling someone that you're going to tell them a story is tantamount to asking them to stop what they're doing and pay attention. You're basically saying, hey buddy, stop everything, stop what you're thinking, I have a solution to everything. And well, I didn't really have any story to tell. In hindsight, I probably just misspoke when I said that I had a story. I think it would have just been better to tell Orville that I wanted to tell him something rather than tell him that I had a story. But even then, it might have put too much importance on the whole thing. Either way, it was quite a nice day. I remember that we were drinking tea.
Acabou? Ok. Enfim, né? Caralho, eu pausei a gravação no momento mais rápido. Tá, falou. Já tomei 2 dias do Mr. Ripple, legal.